My name is Peter McConkey. I work with Liberty Mountain. I direct sales with Liberty. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Grivel 360 ice screw. They're new this year. They've revised them. Most people know Grivel 360 screws because they place awesome, but they don't rack well. They sit bulky on your ice clippers. So what they've done is they've redesigned the hanger to where it sits a little bit further out than their standard 360 screws. So it sits in one another, and you can actually see that they rack well. The other addition that they've changed is they've extended the teeth and the tooth bite by about 25%. So on your initial turn on the screw, you get a much better bite. First quarter turn, it stays. Something that's different with Grivel screws than any other screw on the market is all of their thread. If you hold this up to the competition screws, they're reverse threaded. If you picture a Christmas tree, that is what the Grivel screw looks like. It's sloped down, cuts underneath, sloped down, cuts underneath, where the competition do the opposite. The reason that Grivel does that, even though it seems counterintuitive, is on the other screws, the force of dissipation on the ice is just under that thread. That's all you get. When on the Grivel screws, it dissipates the ice. Since it's the Christmas tree, instead of going just underneath the thread, it forces the pressure from the fall out into the ice, so it dissipates. So if you were to pull this out of a block of ice or a piece of concrete, which you've seen online, the competitor ice screws just pull out in a standard tube because the impact force is just going to be directly underneath the threads. Where you have a 360 screw, it's going to dissipate into the ice and you're going to pull up a cone shape as compared to a tube shape. So the Grivel screws are completely different. Final thing on the 360s is you get the huge lever, so they screw in extremely fast. But you can also fit it in really tight and really narrow placements because it has a short hanger on it. And that's what the 360s are generally known for. So they just kind of met in the middle, still keeping it narrow, but giving you a lot more hanger on it to rack. A lot of the competition right now has this type of handle, which is great because it's fixed. It's still a little bit low profile, but it's fixed. Right, you're only able to spin about that far out, so quick is good when you have a lot more leverage. But you're also looking at the hanger difference. You can see that this is a much narrower piece. So if I'm clearing ice to get a good screw in, I'm going to have to clear enough ice to get that handle around it. Where on a 360, all I have to do is clear enough to get the handle around there. Because when I flip that out, I can also still turn it in without having to do the gigantic handle, which is awesome for getting it in quick, but if you're in tight placements, a lot of times you're going to be placing and putting the screw in like this, on the back of the handle. The one negative about having sharper teeth, if you bottom out your screw, you can dull your screw out quicker. I mean, anytime you bottom out a screw, when you bottom out a screw, you're going into ice and you're accidentally punching through the ice and you're maybe hitting the rock behind it or hitting the dirt. And every time you do that, it dulls your teeth. Sharp teeth are extremely important to that first turn. I mean, the sharper your teeth, you want to be able to get a quarter turn and you want to be able to let go. And then get again, and then be able to let go. If your teeth aren't very sharp, then you're not going to have that opportunity. You're going to have to hold it in and you're going to have to keep pressure on it, so you want to get it in quick. So that the sharper teeth on it, they're 25% deeper than they've had in the past. It's substantial, it's very noticeable. But again, if you bottom out your screw, sharper also means that you can dull it out quicker. But you shouldn't be bottoming out your screws anyway. I mean, everybody does, and you're happy when you do, but afterwards, it costs you about $10 at specific shops to sharpen your screws. Grivel's been doing the Christmas tree, the reverse thread, that's what some people call it, since they started producing ice screws. I mean, it just makes sense. And if you look at any tests that they've done or anything like that, you can see that on the competitor screws, you can see that it just pulls underneath the threads. So what happens is the threads, when this pulls out, you can see that the threads are going to push and dissipate out into the ice. Now, if the threads were reversed, it's just going to have underneath that bottom little piece, and that's all you're going to have as far as dissipating the force. So the 360 screws, hands down, with this revision that they made with the 360 that Grivel made, it's hands down the best screw on the market, no question. And anybody that's placed it can attest to that, no matter which company you work for.